So I finally made it to, so it's 1994 to 1995. So I finally made it to the sixth grade. Um, Fairview was just elementary school, so um, I ended up going to Oak Park Middle School. So I was able to walk there versus having to catch a bus because like right down the street from my parents' house. Um, and they had a few kids who were from Fairview that followed over to Oak Park, but I only really knew them for a year, so really didn't matter much. But I remember like my first day at school, there was just two kids I had no clue, never seen them before. So I guess they went to a different elementary. Um, so it was the first day of school, and we're sitting on these on the bleachers in the girls basketball court, and they was giving like the sixth graders the orientation of Oak Park or whatnot, whatever. And they had these two kids sitting to the left of me, and one was named uh, Garland Bellord, and the other one's named Marlon Rigmaiden. And man, so this was going back and forth. I don't know exactly what they're saying, but I heard Marlon Rigmaiden told Garland, because he's sitting like one bleacher above him, some type of a mama joke, and Garland just got quiet. He didn't say much, whatever. And so orientations leaves, whatever like that. I'm walking. They walking both in front of me, and then next thing you know, I just see Garland. He grabs Marlon Rigmaiden's head and he hits it like against his knee, and he just drops. And I was like, wow. And I was like, yeah, that's my introduction to Oak Park Middle. Welcome to the wild side, I guess. And um, my homeroom teacher was named Miss Broussard. She kind of seemed like she was stuck in the '80s. She had like the little white blonde streak, like perm hair going around. We call her Thunder Thighs because she was like a white lady, these stick thighs. Like she has to like walk around them, like very heavy set or whatnot. I became friends with Anthony Johnson. Pretty cool kid. Uh, Probably like 6 foot in like the 11th grade, like really good, really athletic or whatnot. And I was just Jared. I just bond people kind of easily, I guess. And that this other kid named Sandro, and he was pure Hispanic, like a Mexican kid, whatever, from the village. I Let's name a neighborhood called the Village, and this other tall white kid named Corey Sealy. Corey Sealy was probably like 6'1", like all American looking white guy, like blonde hair over his face or whatnot. And I don't know what happened, but Corey ended up calling Sandro a Chinese nigga, which he wasn't Chinese. He did kind of look like Bruce Lee, but he wasn't Chinese and he wasn't black to even be called those two things. And so next thing you know, I just seen like he jumped up and he punched him in his face or like by his jaw or whatever, and his face just turned red. And I guess that kid Corey Silly didn't want to have anything to do with that, so uh, he just kind of backed off. And the coach at the time was Coach Dejan, it's a black guy, still wanted to keep the box, and he came broke that up. Yeah, that was pretty crazy little experience. So I wasn't used to seeing fights at school or not. And oh yeah, I was playing basketball one day inside the boys' gymnasium, and this kid named Reggie Carrier. I don't know if he tapped it or kneed it or punched it, but he hit me in my nuts, and I've never been hit in my nuts before, and so I just remember standing there. I was like, oh, what's this feeling in my stomach? And I was like, I'm about to die. So I went to go sit down and wait till the pain eventually subsided off. But God, that hurt. I never wanted to be hit there as a kid. And I took my neighbor, the Biagas, his friends with Byron Biagas, and his dad, Terrell Biagas. He loved fishing. Like he would just sit inside of his boat, just to himself on land in their front yard, and just mess around with the I guess like lures or reels or whatever. But one day he took us fishing to the Sabine River, and I just remember getting like a headache from all the wind hitting me inside of my face, because it was pretty far a little ride because it made it in between the border of Texas and Louisiana, And yeah, he stayed there, he chilled, he fished. And I didn't understand it then, but like as an adult, like I probably would like to just go sit in the boat all day and just relax and fish. Yeah, I get it now. I didn't get it then. Um, but he loved it, and that's pretty much all that mattered. And I want to say like the next week we went to this meeting they had. I know like on the back of Mr. Terrell's, I want to say it's his yellow and white Silverado he had the sticker with like B dot A dot S dot S Bass stood for what it's a Bass Association. I don't know. But he was inside this club, this bass club, and so they was having this meeting. I want to say it was like in Moss Bluff or Westlake, or South, whatever. It was like somewhere surrounding area. So I went with Byron and his father to the bass meeting, and I want to say this is the time that Byron's really heavy on Comic View, and Byron tapped me. I think he told me that was the comedian that's on Comic View named Tony Royster. It was this bright skinned guy. I didn't really keep up with comedians, so it wasn't really that important to me. Um, so it was pretty much during the school year, but that summer came around, and my baseball coach called my house, and it was like, "Why haven't you signed up for baseball yet?" And something about me, I think it's like to my father, and my dad was like, "Are you playing baseball this year?" While he's on the phone with my coach, and I was like, "No, I just don't want to play anymore." And so it was like the same conversation. The coach called back and he was like, "I'll pay your registration fee." I was a pretty good person on the team or whatnot, but I just fell out of love with baseball. Nothing. I mean, we just came in first place last year, you know. So yeah, this was my last year, last summer ever playing baseball. That this was the summer for sure year that summer, yeah, that the album East 1999 from Bone Thugs and Harmony came out, and it was even more amazing than the album from last year, Creeping on the Come Up. Um, of course, Byron had the cassette. We had lucky parents, man. Yeah, my parents don't buy me no adult thing, and so, but anyway, he ended up letting me copy it, and yeah, I would listen. I couldn't stop listening. Couldn't stop listening to that tape. Byron and I would just sit like in the front yard, um, on like this little brown table, like these little brown seats. I want to say whatever, and we'll play dominoes. Wasn't really good at it, but everything counted. Fives counted. Whatever. Wasn't no 10 or up, you know. But we just had fun, just sitting there playing dominoes and listening to Bone Thugs and Harmony. And I remember seeing the Crossroad video came out, and that this guy who's on the front row, like on the right side if you're watching TV, and he had these braids. I have no chance of going braids now, but all I remember was I was like, "Mom, I want this hairstyle. I want that." She was like, "You're gonna have to grow an afro, this, and that." I just never bring myself to grow an afro. Well, later on in high school I did, but no, I just couldn't. So it just remained a fantasy. I remember going to Houston. I want to say this is year before, somewhere in between here. My aunt Lydia had a divorce with my uncle Larry, the one that was supposed to bring me to the Oilers game, but I denied him because I said they weren't playing the Raiders. And she bought this really big house inside of in Houston, and it was my first time going. But I'm pretty sure my mother would have been there before. I remember sitting in the driveway, and first of the month came on. Yeah, I don't know why that song, and I just remember vividly just sitting inside the driveway, just listening to it. Uh, Barton, towards the end of the summer, I remember Barton and I walking to Cinema Six. It's the movie theater that's was a church now, but it was across the street from where I was going to school at Oak Park, and pretty big theater inside of Oak Park. And we watched Mortal Kombat, the first Mortal Kombat, and that was pretty much it for that year.